Welcome back everyone to another edition of Figures from the Attic. Today we're back with another comparison video. I started the series a couple weeks ago where I compare an old school Jakks figure to his counterpart in a modern day Mattel figure. Today we're looking at Rick Steiner, specifically Classic Superstars Series 11, I believe, Rick Steiner from Jakks, and Ultimate Edition Rick Steiner by Mattel. As you can see, they're both wearing the same gear, kind of that pink, pale pink, I guess pale pink in the Mattel, more of a vibrant pink in the Jakks, but pink singlet, wrestling singlet. They both have their wrestling headgear, and they both come with their Letterman jacket. So it's a pretty like apples to apples comparison. I'm pretty excited to look at this and the pros and cons of each. But getting started with the head scan, you can see right there they both resemble Rick Steiner very well. I actually want to say that this Rick Steiner by Jakks is probably one of the better Jakks figures that they ever made. So just keep that in mind when I'm doing this review, is I think this figure is phenomenal. I think the same about Mattel. I think these are both phenomenal Rick Steiner figures. For whatever reason, I guess toy companies over the years have just been able to nail Rick Steiner. And these two are a prime example of that. As you can see, they both have different expressions. Here he looks a little more, I guess, serious, just kind of like looking you dead in the eye like this, with kind of like a deer in the headlights type look. And here he's looking a little more menacing, like the dog-faced gremlin that he is. But in their own right, they're both very, very good. The headgear is a little different on both. Of course, here he has green, and here he has kind of a dark blue with white. His strap is going all the way across his chin, whereas the Mattel version has the strap kind of hanging down, but you can adhere it to the other side. You just kind of pop it in place. For display purposes, I like having it down. I think it looks a little more toyetic, a little more interesting, but you can pop it in place. There it popped out again, but that's fine. As far as the Letterman jacket, I will say the Mattel one is a little more accurate just because it does have the Michigan blue and yellow, because they did go to the Wolverines. You know, that's where they went to college. So that's very accurate. I love this soft goods jacket. It's kind of like a soft goods faux cotton in the middle, and it's got kind of like a vinyl-y texture on the sleeves. So they went the extra mile with that one. Whereas the Jakks one is white and blue with Velcro. Actually, they both have Velcro going down the center, but it's a little more bare bones. There's no difference in the material like you see on the Mattel one. It is a little thinner. You can even see it's a little maybe see-through. You can kind of see through it a little bit, whereas this one is much more opaque. But I'm glad that both companies included the Letterman jacket because it does complete the look of the Steiner brothers for sure. Taking off the Letterman jacket, we'll kind of get a better look at their attire, which this singlet, and it's a singlet that Braun Breaker has done a tribute to. He has worn this type singlet a few times in NXT mainly. Let me just get this jacket off of the Mattel. There we go. Okay, but you can get kind of a better look at the tattoos and the singlet. So as I mentioned before, the pink is much more vibrant on the Jakks than it is on the Mattel. I want to say, as far as accuracy goes and which one represents it more accurately to the real life counterpart, I think Mattel did a better job with that, because it is kind of like a pale pink in real life if you look at some of the footage from back in the day. Mattel also included the chest hair, which just gives it that kind of extra realism that the Jakks one did not include. Why they didn't include it, I don't know, because they do have several figures with chest hair. Maybe they just left it off, they forgot to, who knows. As far as the tattoos, they both have the dog-faced gremlin tattoo on their upper shoulder. I guess it's a little more prominent on the Mattel version than it is on the Jakks version, but they're both definitely there. And on the other side, you do get another tattoo on the Mattel version that you don't get on the Jakks version. But you also get wrist tape on both, and you get finger tape on the Mattel, no finger tape on the Jakks. So more complete would definitely be the Mattel, for sure. Now, as far as the lower body, this is something I needed to do some research on before I made the video. I found promo pics where Rick Steiner is wearing both of these looks. So they're both accurate. The Jakks version comes with red knee pads and just like sharp yellow boots, whereas the Mattel has black knee pads with kind of like mismatching red and white boots. You get one tall boot here, like a more traditional wrestling boot, and you get kind of an ankle boot on the other leg with a yellow trim. But again, I found promo pics where he's wearing both. So this was just a stylistic choice that both companies decided to make. Which one is better? That's up to you. I do like the yellow. It really pops on the Jakks version. But I'm also a fan of these. I can picture Rick Steiner wearing those even after his Steiner brother days. So they're both pretty iconic as far as I'm concerned. But again, in their own right, these are both phenomenal figures. Like I mentioned before, this is one of my favorite Jakks figures of all time. I just think they absolutely nailed it. When Jakks wanted to get a figure right and accurate, they definitely had the means to do so, and this is a perfect example of that. The same with Mattel, but Mattel has a lot more hits than misses. So that's to be expected with Mattel. But as an overall score, or I guess who wins the Rick Steiner competition, I'm going to give the slight edge to Mattel because he does have the more accurate soft goods jacket, and he has just a little few details here and there that make it stand out, like the removable clasp on the headgear, the more accurate tattoos, the finger tape, just in general, and the chest hair, of course, can't forget the chest hair. But yeah, I mean, overall, this is a phenomenal figure. Not to say this is not, because this is also. You can't go wrong with either one. I do love the fact that I have both, and I also have Braun Breaker wearing the same thing, so it's nice to have kind of all three. But as always, I appreciate you watching, and stay tuned for more.